Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be sewing up the Metamorph Messenger bag by Unikatz Patterns. This is such a great bag. I love this bag so much. I have been using my tester bag every day as my daily bag. Let me show you. This was my tester bag for the pattern. I love this bag. I have used it every day. It holds all my stuff, my kids' stuff. It's been through a lot. I think I need to make myself another one. Today we're going to be sewing up this brown one. But first, let me show you the cool features of this bag and why I love it so much. First one is this exterior flap. It comes off, guys, so you can change it for another flap. Isn't that so cool? I'm going to put this one on and just watch. It changes just the whole bag. You can do this to match an outfit for the time of the year, if you want to do a Christmas or even a fall looking bag. You could even change it if you're going to Disneyland. You can get Disney fabric and make a Disney flap. It's such a cool bag. Look at that, guys. All you do is change the flap. It's really cool. I love this bag so much. Let me take this off and let me show you some of the other features. On the back, there's 3 snap buttons. I use really heavy duty ones. In the pattern, she doesn't call for such heavy duty ones. I like the more heavy duty snaps. Then I feel like the flap is not going to come off at any time when I'm running errands or running out and about with my kids. In the front, you have this really cool, really deep zipper pocket. I love this pocket. Also, if you decide to use this bag without the large flap, there's a small flap here hidden that now uses that magnetic snap. So you don't have to use it with a large flap. And when you do want to use it with a large flap, all you do is hide it inside the slip pocket. Isn't that a really neat idea? Let's look at the inside. Inside, she has a zipper pocket with a zipper overlay. Now, it's not in the pattern, but I add a slip pocket to the other side. I'll show you how to do that in today's sew along. I love having a slip pocket in purses, so I started adding some to mine. There's a double zipper pull on the top. You have a crossbody strap. Let me put the flap on and then I'll show you what it looks like on. Zip her up. Put the large flap on. Isn't that such a cool bag? It's nice and big, can hold everything, great for a day trip, running around, running errands. You have to carry a lot of stuff. I love it. I love how interchangeable this flap is. There's so many great patterns and designs, even on cotton. You could totally make the bag look like 100 bags with all different kinds of flaps. I think this is great for a craft fair. I'm making a bunch of them for my upcoming craft fair. I think it's a great idea. If you have just a basic base bag and then you have a bunch of fun flaps, I think that's just awesome. If you want to learn how to sew this one today, go ahead and grab the pattern. I'll link it in the description below so you can go to Unikatz Etsy shop and grab the pattern. Let's get started sewing. Let's go over some pattern pieces. I have this awesome cotton canvas, here it is, that I'm going to use for my front flap. I have both of these interfused with SF101, and then I have Decoville Light on one, and then Fusible Fleece on the other. Now, when I've made this flap out of vinyl, the only interfacing I use is Fusible Fleece on one of the flaps for the vinyl. But since I'm using a thinner material, I feel like having one side with Decoville Light and one side with fleece gives the flap a really nice structure. This is pattern piece B, your large flap. Now, all my cotton canvas pieces are fused with SF101, and most of my vinyl pieces are fused with Decoville Light. This is your gusset. You need one lining and one exterior. Okay, this is pattern piece K. It is your bottom front pocket lining piece. Pattern piece D, that's your accent panel. It has Decoville Light. Pattern piece E, this is your bottom front pocket exterior. I have Decoville Light, and she gives you instructions in the pattern of where to put your interfacing. Pattern piece A, you need one exterior and two lining. Zipper gusset pieces, pattern piece F, you need two exterior and two lining. Pattern piece C is your top front panel. Goes on the top of your front of your main exterior. So you need one exterior and one lining. I have one exterior zipper pocket lining and one interior zipper pocket lining. I have one zipper overlay piece. You have your small front flap, pattern piece H. You need two exterior, and it is not interfaced with Decoville Light. You need two D-ring strap connectors and your strap. I have already sewn up my strap. I just need to add the hardware. Okay, we're going to start with making the front panel. We are going to take these two pieces and we're going to put them right sides together, and we're going to sew them together at the full seam allowance that she has in the pattern. Now you want to start here, sew all the way around, and stop back stitching at the beginning and end, and you want to leave an opening at the top so you can turn it. Just gonna put a pin clip where I want to start and stop. Okay, we're going to start here, sew all the way around, and stop here. Back stitching at the beginning and the end. Okay, so I sewed around I put them right sides together, I sewed them around, and I did 2 rows of stitching on my flap here. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to install my magnetic snap before I turn it. It's just easier for me to do it that way. I'm going to install it on the Decoville light side of my flap. Okay, you need a male magnetic snap and a washer. Let's see. Okay, you're going to need a magnetic snap, a washer, and your large flap panel piece B. I cut it out on mine because I'm making, I don't know if it'll focus, but I'm making a bunch of these. So what I did is I just went ahead and made these out of those plastic cutting boards you get from the dollar store, just since I'm making a bunch of these for a craft fair. Okay, so I'm going to line this up with my fabric, and then I'm going to mark the marking that she has for your magnetic snap. Just make sure that it's all lined up. Okay. There's my marking for my magnetic snap right there. Okay, need your washer. Put your washer on. I'm going to mark where the prongs are going to go. And then I'm going to use my X-Acto knife. I'm going to stick my hand in. I'm not going to stab myself. Stick my hand in. I'm just going to cut where these lines that I made are. Just go gentle and slow. You don't want to make a big hole. Just enough for these to squeeze through. It's actually better to have it a little bit more on the snug side than on the super loose side. So I took my magnetic snap with my finger on the inside, and now I am just pushing the prongs through those slits as gently as I can so I don't rip anything. Okay, there we go. Put your washer on. Okay, and then duct tape. And you can use any kind of tape, double-sided tape. I like duct tape the best. Okay, there we go. Now it won't rub on the fleece. Now we're gonna trim it first before we turn it. Trim the corners and all the curves. Trim the curves all the way around. Very messy. Okay. Throw all these away. Put my X-Acto knife away. Okay, now we're going to turn it. Put your hand inside and just slowly start pushing it out. You usually grab the bottom and just slowly start teasing it out. The deck of the light will give you a little bit of a run for your money. But if you're just patient, just do a little bit at a time. Don't do it too harshly. You need to use your thumbs at this point and just push it out. There you go. And I usually just stick my hand back in. I'll see double row stitching made it so nice. It's, you know, the stitching isn't that visible through. This was my goal. Okay, I usually use my hand and go around the bottom part, but I need to get my chopstick. I just have a wooden chopstick that I use to poke out the corners at the top. Just as much as I can with my finger first. Then I go in and just gently tease those corners. You know, I kind of roll them in my fingers so they will lay nice. Okay. I have a stray thread right here. Okay. Now you can take this to your iron and press it to get all the wrinkles out. I think I'm going to. And this, you're just going to fold it inside on itself, line it up. I think I need to poke this corner out a little bit more. Don't do it too much, but I want the corners to kind of match as much as I can. Okay, now I'm going to go and I'm going to iron this, and then we're going to just top stitch all the way around. I didn't catch it. I think this side I'll have to do by hand, the without this. See, it went off here. So I'm just going to redo it. Unstitch it, and then I'll back stitch and lock. I'll back stitch right here and lock these stitches in. Stuff happens. You just have to fix it when you notice it. You go too far, it will get away from you. I have all these threads I need to hold. So I'm going to start. Sorry about moving the camera. It's just trying to get it into the hole, one of the holes. Okay, so I'm gonna go forward one, and I'm gonna back one. Actually, I'll do back two, just because I gotta hold those stitches in. Oh, sorry about the camera, guys. I'm not used to having a camera between me and my sewing machine. Okay, I'm gonna make sure all of this is rolled. I did put some tape here to hold it, but I need to roll it a little bit more to match, to make this edge as straight as I can. That's why it went off, is it's not perfectly straight, which is okay. Just my interfacing is a little too high up. I put it a little too high up. So the fabric's rolling over the edge of the interfacing. That's as good as it's gonna get. Just take it slow. I'm not a fast sewer, so I am very cautious. Just want to make sure it looks as best as I can get it. That is my cat begging for breakfast. Don't step on that, Tabby. I'm just going to go back over the same holes. Lock it in place. Oh, I got stuck. It's because if I was hand doing it, my machine does not like hand cranking at all. That's okay. Just pull these threads. And there should be a thread that I pull that tightens them. One of these. There it goes. And I just have to sorry. Okay. I'm going to snip these and then burn the ends of the threads. Go. Do the same thing with this side. Back stitched all of these, so they should be good. But I always burn the ends of the strings to add this extra support. Just be careful. Don't burn yourself. So now in the pattern, she has directions for where to put your second row of top stitching. She tells you to measure down and then you do a second row of top stitching, and you'll see why we do that. I have to hold my threads or else my machine eats them. Now I'm going to start in, just so happens there has to be a hole right there. Happens to be a hole right there. Okay. I'm going to start there, back stitch, go all the way down, and then back stitch at this end here. Go. And then I'm gonna trim my threads, and then I'm gonna burn my threads, the thread ends. Just be, like I said, be very careful. Don't burn yourself and don't overdo it, or else you're gonna have to redo your stitchings. I am talking from experience. Okay, there we go. And then we'll move on to the next step. Okay, the next step is we're going to add our snap. I will show you on this other flap here. Here's one that I've previously done, and I've added these snaps here, and they are so you can make your flap interchangeable on your bag. So you're going to get your lining, not lining, excuse me, you're going to get your interfacing pattern piece to mark the holes at the top. Okay, I have holes on here that I've punched out where she has it on the pattern piece. I don't know if you can see those. And I'm going to line it up with the top of the bag, and you want your holes to be in between these two rows of stitching, so it has extra, this fabric has extra security. So you're just going to line these holes up, and you're going to punch holes in them. Put these on off camera because you have to use a hammer, but I will put a little dab of glue, fabric glue, in each of the holes that I punched, since I'm making my flap out of fabric. And then you're going to put your button through the holes. Here, I'll just do this so you can see what it's going to look like. I usually make the holes a little snug just to add extra support, so see? And then on this side, we're going to put all of these snap buttons. This side here, here, and here. I don't have a press for it, so I'm just using what it comes with, and that is a plate to put it on. This holds it in place, and then you just hammer it on. And I would suggest practicing with a set on a scrap piece of vinyl or a scrap piece of webbing to make sure that you're doing it correctly for you if you've never done it before. Okay, I'm going to go off camera and do it because I got to do it on the floor with a hammer. I put the snaps on and they look great. It looks really nice. I love how this brass brings out this color in the pattern. Okay, now we're going to move on to the next step. We're going to sew our small flap now. You're going to need your 2 pattern H's, no interfacing. You're going to put them right sides together, and we're going to do very similar to the large flap, right sides together, and we're going to sew along here at the full seam allowance, turn it, and then top stitch. That's what it looks like all sewn together. Now we're going to mark where our magnetic snap is going to go. Okay, you have your pattern piece, and I have the hole punched on where she has you mark where your magnetic snap's going to go. I'm going to put it right here. And we're going to get our washer, and you'll be putting on a male magnetic snap, same as your large flap. You're going to stick your hand in, and you're going to put these holes in, or these slits in. Just be careful, don't stab yourself. Don't make them very big. It's better to start out small and make them a little bit bigger if you need to. Okay, so on here, inside you can see where those slits are. And just put this in here, push the prongs through, put your washer on. Okay, and then I'm going to cover it with some duct tape. I don't want it to be too close to my stitching because I will need to top stitch. Okay, now we're going to trim our seam allowance and then turn it. Okay. And we're just going to turn it right side out. I usually just roll it. Oh, sorry guys, that was my cat. She has come to say hi. What? You gonna come here? No, you're gonna be camera shy. I might need to trim a little bit more of the seam allowance down because as you can tell, it's bulking up right here. I'm just gonna go back in. And right here on these curves here, I'm just gonna cut larger slits in, or larger V's, I should say, in here, just so it can lay a little bit nicer. Don't cut too close to your stitches. I'm still about 1/8 of an inch away from my stitches. Okay, and then I'll do this side. Okay, let's try it now. See how it lays. It's a little better. I gotta cut farther here. Just take your time. You want this to look as nice as you can. Okay, let's see. Now, if it lays a little nicer. Just kind of roll them. Move the vinyl around. Okay, that's going to be as nice as I'm going to get it. Maybe a little bit more here and here. I'll do that off camera. I'll just snip it more up this side. It's getting bulky right here. I didn't trim that down enough with the pinking shears.
Hi everybody. I don't know what happened. My microphone decided to stop working and I didn't realize it at first. Anyways, we toss stitched around the edge and we closed up the top. My daughter came in to say hi and to see what we were doing.
Maybe cut some little.
We finished our front flap. I just burned the threads on the end just so they don't come undone. We will be stitching it into
more
other
can move better
pattern pieces for the main front panel.
And then it'll lay nicer. The curve will be a lot nicer. Let's see. Oh yeah, see how now that curve is so much nicer. Looks more, yeah, see? Just that little bit of time will help you get that nice curve on your flaps. Okay. We're going to top stitch and close the top. Use these same clips here just to hold my vinyl. I like to kind of roll it with my fingers and just flatten it out as much as I can, especially around those curves. Probably just put 2 more. Put 1 here and 1 here. Okay. Here's our front small flap. We're going to now make our main front exterior panel. We're going to get all the pieces and sew them together. You need pattern piece E, which is your bottom front main panel, and you need pattern piece K, which is the lining for your front pocket. In the pattern, she gives you measurements. I already marked them on here. And make sure your centers are marked. You're going to put these right sides together, and we are going to clip them in place. Okay, so right sides together, clip them in place. Now what we're going to do is these lines that she instructs you in the pattern to draw, we are going to sew from here down and across and then back up. Okay, now that we have sewn this together, we're going to cut about 1/4 of an inch away from our stitching. Cut this fabric out. If you need to draw it, I'm just going to eyeball it. Here we go. Now what you're going to want to do is clip diagonally towards these corners because we are going to turn this. So now what we're going to do is turn this wrong sides together. You got to fiddle it with your fingers. So you're going to have to turn it. It's a little awkward, but it will turn. You need to go back and snip more in this corner. On the wrong side, you can, to make it more sharp. I'm going to use some clips to kind of hold it. Okay, see? Now we have this, what's going to be a slip pocket. If you're using quilt cotton on both sides, you can iron it nice and flat. I am using vinyl and I don't want to iron. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take this to the machine and we're going to top stitch here, down, and up. Now that our top stitching is done for our slip pocket, we're going to take this lining piece and we're going to fold it up and match it up with the top of the pocket. I'm going to put a pin clip here and here. So now this will be a really cool slip pocket. We're going to sew the line, just the lining. We're going to sew here and then we're going to sew here. I'm actually going to clip just the lining together so I can move my exterior vinyl out of the way so I can sew here and sew here and sew it at the full seam allowance that she gives in the pattern. There we go. You're going to want to veer off to this corner here. Come out here. Don't keep sewing down this way. And then back stitch. So I sewed here, and then I just gradually veered off this way. I'm going to sew starting here, and then sew, and then increase to the full seam allowance, and then continue to the back up to the top of the slip pocket. Have to hold my threads, or else my machine will eat them. I start about 1/8 of an inch away from the bottom, and then increase to the full seam allowance. Back stitch very well. Back stitch at the top very well as well. So there's our pocket. We just slowly, gradually go down to the bottom. So now it creates a nice pocket. Okay, let's move on to the next step. For the next step, you're going to need the bottom of the panel that we just made. You're going to need your accent panel, which is pattern piece D, and you're going to need the small flap that we made earlier, and some double-sided tape. We're going to put double-sided tape along just the lining. Then you're going to take your flap, and we're going to stick it to the tape the way it should be. So the magnetic snap should be facing down on top of the right side of the bottom piece. So wrong side to right side, just like that. Okay. Center it in between your pocket here. Now we're going to do another row of double-sided tape across the entire top of this bottom panel. And we're going to take our accent band and it's going to be right sides together. So we're going to put it face down on top and attach it to the top of this bottom panel. So we're going to sew along here at the full seam allowance. Then we will turn it, press it, and we will top stitch on the accent band. Here we go. There's our slip pocket, our front bottom slip pocket. Now we need to attach our zipper. We're going to attach it to the top of this accent band. And then we also need our pattern piece C. You need the exterior and the lining. And then we will need the exterior zipper pocket. I have one zipper pull. Let me get the pocket, and you will need double-sided tape. Here we go. Here's our exterior zipper pocket. It is the bigger one. You have two zipper pockets. There's a skinnier one, skinnier long one for the inside of the bag, and a wider one for the exterior. Okay, I'm gonna put that to the side for now. First things first is put this to the side. We need to get our zipper and we're going to attach it to pattern piece C. So we're going to use double-sided tape. I'm going to put it along the zipper. Okay. Take that off. And then I'm going to take the exterior and it's going to be right sides together. So right side down on the right side of the zipper. Okay. Now we're going to take the lining. I'm going to put tape on the lining. Okay. And that's going to be right side up and then zipper wrong side down on top of the lining. So when we fold them, they're going to be wrong sides together and the zipper will be right side up with the exterior. So I'm going to do that. I usually just line up the edge of this pattern piece C with the edge of the lining pattern piece C. You can mark your centers and do it that way. For me, this is just a lot faster. Go. And then we will sew this together at the full seam allowance. I have to go this way because of my presser foot. That way, this is kind of like a zipper foot. It only has one side here, but then there's nothing on this side. So I usually have to put the zipper this side so I can get as close to the zipper as I can. Open this, press them both away from the zipper. Press them both away from the zipper. And then we're going to top stitch on this panel, the exterior panel piece C, with both of these pieces folding away from the zipper. I'm going to finger press it and then I'm going to top stitch. Okay, I have pressed them away from the zipper and I just clipped it so it doesn't move while I'm sewing. Now we're going to top stitch. I'm going to hold my threads. Okay, on to the next step. Now we're going to add some double-sided tape to our previously made panel. And add it to the top of this accent band. And then we're going to put what we just made, our zipper panel, and we're going to put that right sides together with the bottom panel that we have just made. I'm going to actually find my center here so I can make sure that it is centered. And I never clip my zippers. I never clip my zippers. I always use one of these white chalk and I pinch where the center is and I just kind of go over it with my chalk. And then now I know where my center is. Find the center of this panel. And I'm just going to take my snips and just snip it. There you go. Now I know where the center is. So we're going to put these right sides together. Okay. Now we're going to get our lining panel, and we're going to put that right side with the right side of the top exterior lining. Find the center. I guess I can add some double-sided tape here. Okay. Take the tape off. Take the paper of the tape off, I should say. Where did I put the center? There's the center. And I'm going to put a center there. And I'm going to just stick it to the zipper. Okay. Sure. And then we're going to sew this at the full seam allowance. So you have your bottom, you should have the zipper, you should have the top panel, and then your lining. And the linings should be right sides together, and the exteriors should be right sides together. We're going to sew here, full seam allowance. Okay, now we need top stitch on the other side of the accent band and the zipper. Make sure your lining is facing down, away from the top of the bag, away from the zipper, down this way. Your seam and your lining should all be going down, away from the zipper, towards this slip pocket that we made earlier. So we're just going to top stitch on the other side of this accent panel to finish the exterior, and then we will close up the zipper pocket lining. Okay, now let's finish the pocket. Now that our front panel is all sewn together and we've top stitched, I need to put my zipper on. I want my zipper to close to the left, so I'm going to put it on from the right side. I'm going to find the zipper tooth that comes first, whether it's the right, the left, or the right. And in this case, my zipper tooth on the left comes before the one on the right. So I know that I have to put this left side in first, then put the right side in, and then push the zipper on. There you go. Now the zipper is on. It's installed. Now we need to take our lining and we need to pull it up and match it with the lining on the top of the bag here. We're going to match this and this together. If you have your centers matched or your centers snipped, you can match the centers. But I do not have these centers snipped, so I'm just going to line up the edges. It doesn't have to be perfect. Nobody's going to see. And clip them. Okay. Just going to line the edges up and clip. I'm going to crease it, pin the sides here and here. And what I need to do is I need to trim the squared bottom to match the rounded bottom. So I'm going to grab my scissors. Move that clip out of the way. Doesn't have to be perfect. Nobody is going to see. Clip. This one. Okay. So now my linings are rounded. There you go. Now what we're going to do is move this front top panel out of the way as best we can. And we're going to take this here and we're going to sew here and up and around and down. So you're going to go in a little bit, up and around, down, and then out. I'll show you. We'll do the same for the bottom and then we'll trim our seam allowance. Start here. Going to come in a little bit and then go down. In and down. Okay, we're going to sew this lining top piece first, and then we'll sew the bottom lining pocket. I'm actually going to do it this way so I can get as close to the zipper as I can. And then I'm going to turn this like this. And now we're going to sew this way. So came in, up and around, down, and then out. And then now I'm going to trim just about by half, trim this seam allowance down. And then we will do the same thing to the bottom lining. Come in and then go down. And then on this side, come in and go down. I'm going to just put some stitches over my zipper so I don't accidentally pull my zipper pull off. I'm just doing it right over the zipper teeth. Just forward and then back. And just do it to both sides just to keep my zipper pull on. That's the only purpose of these little stitches. Just go forward and then back. Okay. Our front panel's done. Okay, we finished our front panel. I trimmed my zipper tape down, burned the edges so it doesn't fray. Now we need to put on the other side of our magnetic snap from here to here. So we need our other magnetic snap. We need the female end, and we need a washer. I need my X-Acto knife and a marking tool. Okay. So what she has you do is find where your snap meets the bottom. I usually just push it and then it'll make an indentation. So there, see, made an indentation right here where the snap will go. So that is our center. We'll line up my washer. Push it down in. It disappears pretty quick. And line my washer up to the center. Okay. And then I'm going to use my white chalk that I have. Let me double check. Oh, see, I always double check. I didn't center it. Let me wipe this off. Okay, let's try this again. What I might do is add like a cross, because it is hard to see when you're trying to on this darker fabric. Yeah, okay. Now we'll be able to see in the center of this washer where the center is. It's always better to double check before you cut stuff like this. Make sure, yeah, it's right in the center. Okay. Now move your lining out of the way so you don't cut your lining. I'm just gonna cut into just the exterior bottom panel. Get my chalk now. Put prongs in. Turn over. Get my washer. Fold those out of the way. And then I'm going to get some tape. Duct tape. Put it over the top here so it doesn't rub on the lining. There we go. Now it's connected. Okay. Now we can move on to the next step. You got to come over here. See, look at the camera. Say cheese.
Wow, what is this?
It's a zipper, and this is called a zipper overlay. See, we're going to sew the zipper on the bag, and then this is going to go on top. See, and then it'll look so nice.
It's like a steering wheel.
It's like a steering wheel?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. That's an interesting steering wheel.
Wow, what is it?
That's a zipper pull. Look, it's going to go on here on the zipper, so we can open and close the zipper.
I'm going to help you.
You going to help me? Well, here, I'll show you.
How do I put on there?
Right here. Look. I'm going to turn it around.
It's actually like a
It's
coat.
very small. Yes, just like on a jacket or a coat.
Yeah, but...
Wait. Don't pull it yet. Hold on. I got to get it on, and then I'll tell you when to pull. Here, ready? You're going to pull it?
Not ready.
Okay, pull.
Look!
It's on now.
Yeah.
See? Then you can open.
That's
How do you open it? That's close. How do you open?
Okay.
You can close it. It's
Yeah.
already closed.
Close.
Yeah.
Close it and open it.
And open. Good job.
Only open.
Yep. See? And then there'll be a pocket, and you can put all your stuff in there.
Let's put on there.
And this will go on top.
Let's put on top of the zipper.
It goes on top of the zipper. Right. See?
And we grab the zipper.
Grab the zipper.
We grab the zipper. Yeah, that way.
You grab it.
Yes. Now
Okay, now pull.
close it.
See? Now it's closed. Cool.
Oh, I go this way and this way. Hi.
You gotta say, we are going to make the pocket on the inside.
We make a pocket on the inside.
Yeah, and we're gonna use a zipper overlay.
Yeah, zipper all
Zipper overlay?
Take us.
Yeah, let's see. You need to... There, look, now we can see you. Yeah.
I can't see my butt.
You can't see yourself?
There we go.
Okay. So we're going to make the pocket on the inside of the bag. And we're going to use a zipper overlay and a number 3 zipper.
And close it up.
Yeah, so you can open it and close it. And we have our lining for the inside. And we're going to sew the lining to the zipper first.
Cut.
We're going to sew it to the zipper first.
Let's cut it.
We will we'll trim it down after we sew it.
I cut on here.
You want to cut on there? And we will cut a hole for our zipper overlay.
Yeah.
Yay. Are you looking at yourself? Okay. So are you going to tell them what we need to do first?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's get different tape. This tape. Hold on, let Mommy get the skinnier tape. Ready? Okay. Oh, I love you. Okay, let's put our tape on. We have to put the tape on the wrong side of the zipper. The wrong side. So this side. The wrong side. So the zipper is facing down. Well, here, let's put it on. Let's see. You got to stick it right on the edge. Good. Right there on the edge. It's very sticky, huh?
Yeah, very sticky.
Very sticky. And do right on the edge, and then we'll rip it. You want to help me rip it?
You rip it.
Hold on, ready? Pull.
Pull with it.
Good job. Okay, now we gotta put it on the other side. We're gonna put it on both sides. Put it on both sides. There you go.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Oh, you're a good counter.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11, 12, 13, 14, 16, 17, 18, 19, 21, 22, 23, 24.
Wow. You're such a good counter.
I don't know how to count.
You know how to do a lot of counting?
Yep.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 16, 18, 19, 21, 22, 23, 24.
Whoa, you are a good counter.
I highest count.
You're the highest counter. Okay, hey, let's now take the white paper off. You can pull it off for me.
I can't pick it up.
There you go, pull. Okay, now we are gonna put the right side of the fabric, the right side of on the short end.
Look at me.
You're so silly. The short end of the lining, right sides with the wrong side of the zipper. You gotta... Okay. Oh no, are you tying me up?
No.
No.
I got squeezy, you guys.
Oh, you're squeezing me? Oh man. Okay, I need you to pull the other paper off. You ready? Now we're going to move the lining out of the way, and we're going to pull the other side of the paper off.
I want to play with this, Mom.
Of course you can have it.
How I get this one?
Oh wait, oh, whoa, 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 hold on. We're pulling the tape off. Let me help you. We got to keep the tape on, but only take the paper off. Let's see, let's stick that back on. Let me get it started. Ready? There we go. Now you can pull it. Good job. Okay. Do you want to go play with that?
Yeah.
Okay, why don't you go take it in your kitchen? Say bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, go play with it in your kitchen. You gonna make me some food? Yeah. Okay, now we're gonna put the other side of the short edge, right side with the wrong side of the zipper. Right side of the fabric with the wrong side of the zipper. You can find your centers if you want to. I just eyeball it, line it up with the edge. There we go, just like that. So you should see the top of your zipper with the wrong side. And then that way when you unzip it and open it, you'll have the right side of the fabric. Okay, you have your lining panel here, and we need to take our zipper overlay, and in the pattern, on the pattern piece, she has where the opening should be for your zipper overlay. Now, I don't cut that out when I cut my pattern pieces. I will find what the distance is from the top, tape this on, sew around the outer part of the zipper overlay, and then cut this out after I sew it on to the lining. So I'm going to do that now. Okay, let's try this again. Find the center. find the center. And I'm going to line it up. Now you can obviously cut the hole out and then line it up with the hole in the pattern. This is just the way that I do it, and it's a little bit easier for me to do it this way. I feel like cutting the hole first, then my fabric frays, and then it never turns out the way I want. The first time I tried to do it that way, I ended up tossing the whole fabric and cutting a new one. So I have found a way that works for me. That's what it's about, finding a way that works for you. It may not work for everybody. Some people sew it on, cut it. Some people cut it, then sew it. Oh, wow. I got a big meal, guys.
It has sauce in it.
There's sauce?
And cheese.
And cheese? Oh, my favorite, sauce and cheese. Okay, now I'm going to sew around the outer edge of my zipper overlay, and then I will cut my hole out. Okay, now we're going to sew our zipper overlay on. I'm going to sew just on the outside perimeter, not going to sew here, because we will do that when we put our pocket on. I'm just going to sew along the outer perimeter. I'm not going to backstitch. I'm going to keep my threads long, pull it through to the back, and tie it. Here we go. I'm going to cut this out. So what I usually do, I usually fold it in half and snip it right in between the overlay, just so I can get my scissors in there. I'll go like that and this. And then I start, you want to cut it so that way you cannot, I want to cut at least half of this off, this here, because I want it to be like that length to where you will not see it. You don't want to see it because we need to put the zipper there. So however you can trim it, however you trim it, you can do it from the front or the back. If you do it from the back, you could pull on it and cut it away so you don't see it. See how I can see the back of my overlay? Just cut just enough off. You don't have to go crazy. Make sure you're only cutting the fabric. Don't cut into your overlay. It's not going to look pretty. Nobody's going to see it. It doesn't need to look pretty. It just needs to be out of the way. So I cut it to where, see how you can start to see the backing on the overlay peeking through, and then from the front you cannot see that fabric anymore, which is what you want. We're going to take our zipper. Now I want mine closing to the left. We're going to put some tape on the top and the bottom, but we'll only take the tape off of the top first. I think I'm going to use my super sticky tape to hold it. I'm going to move that out of the way. I don't need my scissors anymore. I'm just going to put it right on the edge of this zipper tape, on the right side of the zipper tape, where it's going to go on the overlay. Okay. Cut that. I'm going to go ahead and also put it on the other side. We won't take that paper off yet. We're just going to do one at a time, so one side at a time. Okay. I'm going to put, I love this tape, but it is very, very sticky. I keep it in the bag just so it doesn't get other stuff sticky. Okay. I'm going to start with what I'm going to deem as the top because I want it to close to the left. This will be my top. And we're going to stick it to the top of the zipper overlay. But how I do that is take the tape off, I take the overlay, and I center it. I center it as best I can on top of the zipper. Okay. Now I'm going to take the paper off of the bottom. And I'm going to stick that down. You might have to readjust. So don't be afraid to be readjusting as you go if you need to. You want it to be in the right spot. Before you sew. You see, I usually pick it up, look at it. If I'm not happy with it, I'll just kind of undo it, redo it. Move all of the frays out of the way. You see. I think that's pretty good. Maybe just this edge is okay. I think that's as good as it's going to be. I usually check and make sure from the back that it is pretty centered because when we sew over this side, I want to make sure we're sewing on pocket. We don't, it's not over to over. Give it one last look. Okay. Okay, we're sewing on the overlay just along the bottom of the zipper. Now I'm gonna position my needle where I want it to be before I even start. I think I actually need to turn my, okay, I have to turn my bag around. Okay, you're gonna keep your threads long. We're just sewing along the bottom on the overlay, the bottom of the zipper. Okay, now I'm gonna position my needle where I want it to be. There we go. I want it right there, to start right there. Need to move this zipper out of the way. Okay, here we go. Nice and slow. Okay, now we're gonna pull, keep our threads long, and we're gonna pull them to the back and tie them off. Okay, we're gonna finish. Make sure your pocket lining is going down the way it should go when your pocket is finished. You're gonna start in this hole that we finished on, go up, across the top, and down, and end in the hole, put our needle in the hole over here, the first hole here, just so we don't make extra holes. Here we are. Now I'm going to pull my threads to the back and tie them off. Okay, now we're going to close up our pocket. So we're going to fold this pocket out of the way, and we're going to just sew down here and close it up. Pull it as far as you can. Get as close as you can to the panel. Make sure to back stitch and just close the pocket up. Make sure to back stitch. Okay, trim your threads. And now your pocket is closed. There you go. See? Now we have a working pocket. Looks nice. I'm going to show you guys how I do my slip pockets in the Metamorph messenger bag. Have a piece of waterproof canvas. It is, I believe, 11 by 13. I can double check. Yep, 11 by 13. Fold it in half. Line it up with the bottom of your bag. And the sides, because it should be the 11 is the width, 11 inches wide. By now it's half of 13, because it gives you 3 inches down from the top to the top of where your pocket will be. I'm going to trim it. Okay. I'm going to sew across the top here, and then we will baste it onto our bag. Okay, I want to have a double slip pocket, so I want to have one pocket on this side, one pocket on this side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a line in the middle. I'm going to go up the one side of the line, stitch over, and go back down that center line and back stitch. Here we are. Now we have a slip pocket on this side and a slip pocket on this side. I'm going to go ahead and put my logo on here on the inside of the bag. I can show you how I do that. I have my completed slip pocket. I want to add my bag tag to the interior slip pocket. I do my tags in HTV, and I'm going to put it on to one side here. I don't want to iron it on the stitches because it will come off. But I want to kind of try to center it. So let me find the center point here. Giving myself seam allowance, finding the center of that. So it's going to be roughly just eyeballing it. Once it's in the bag, inside the bag, you're not going to notice too much Yeah, that's pretty darn close. Okay. I'm going to cover it with a Teflon sheet, and I'm going to press it with my iron. I'm just going to go ahead and just kind of crease just to make it nice. Okay, I'm going to give it, it's blazing hot. I'm going to give it a couple minutes to cool, and then I'm going to peel it off. I'm going to peel it off. Peel nice and slow, making sure it's down, and it is. It melted nicely. So that's how I do my logos. I do them on the inside of my bag. I don't ever put them on the outside. So I put my snaps on the back exterior main panel. It looks great. They're in the spot where they need to be according to the pattern piece. And we can now set this aside. We're now going to make our zipper gusset panel, exterior zipper gusset panel. You're going to need your zipper, 2 zipper pulls, 2 lining pieces, 2 exterior pieces, and some double-sided tape. I'm going to set 1 lining and 1 exterior to the side for now, and our zipper pulls to the side. We will install those later. First things first, we're going to take some double-sided tape, and we're going to place it on the edge of our lining, the right side of our lining. And then we're going to take the paper off. And we're going to line our zipper up to the edge of our lining. Just like so. Now we're going to put some more double-sided tape. And this time we're going to put it on our edge of our zipper, the right side of our zipper. We're going to sandwich our zipper with our exterior. Take our paper off, right side down for your exterior piece. I didn't line it up. You can find your centers. I forgot to find our centers. So I'm just lining it up from edge to edge. Okay, now we're going to sew along this side on our full seam allowance. We're going to press both panels away from our zipper. And then we're going to top stitch. I'm going to add some clips just so the lining stays pulled away from the zipper. Now we're going to top stitch. We are going to repeat this for the other side of the zipper. Exact same steps. Now that we have our zipper panel pieces sewn onto our zipper, I'm going to take these off. We're going to add our zipper pull before we forget. I'm going to singe these just to make them easier. They're starting to fray. We're going to cut them down after we put our zipper pulls on. Okay. I'm going to put one on and then I'll show you more close up how I put my zippers on. This one. Okay. I'm going to come in close and show you. See if it'll focus. There it goes. So I look at my zipper teeth and I determine which zipper teeth is the last one. And it looks like, can you see it? This one here comes last or first, whatever you want to say. So we're going to start with this one first, which is my right. So then what I do, put the right side in first, then the left side in. I look inside, see how you can see the teeth, and make sure that that one on the right is coming first. Then I push from down here, push them together. And there you have it. Now it's on. We have 2 zipper pulls on. There we are. 2 zipper pulls on. I'm going to wait and trim my zippers down until after we sew the gusset pieces on, because we will be sewing over the zipper at that point. So I'm going to put this to the side for now, and then we're going to get our gusset piece. Okay, you need your gusset piece G with the Decaville light. You need your pattern piece and your connectors You need your connectors that you've already sewn and your D-rings or triangle rings, whichever you prefer. And you're going to need some double-sided tape. Double-sided tape. On the pattern piece, she has placements, strap connector placements on both sides of the pattern piece. I'm actually going to do it on the right side because that's what I'll be lining up. Let me get a pen where I can see. I'll try my chalk pen. I don't see my white metallic pen anywhere. There's holes on your pattern piece. I punched those out, and then I'm going to mark those 4 holes because we are going to line up our connector inside this rectangle. I'm going to see if I can just get some chalk in there. See if it works. Oh, pretty good. I can see where the holes are. Here, 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 and here. Where the marks are. You have your connectors. She shows you in the pattern measurements, how to fold them if you would like to do so beforehand. I fold mine a little bit differently than she has in the pattern piece. I'm going to put this here. Make sure that's the back. Yes, I have messed that up before. Put my D-ring on. Pull this down. Pull this up. Done. My D-ring on. I need to move my tape. Pull this down. Pull that up. This, I need to adjust this. I do want it to be similar. Put too much tape. This down. Pull this up. That is pretty darn close. Okay. We are going to now put some more tape on the wrong side. And you're going to line up those marks you made from the pattern piece with the 4 corners of your strap connector. Just going to take them, line up the 4 corners, and press. I'm going to do the same for the other side. Now, she gives you a marking to mark on your strap connector for you to sew your box. I'm going to do that now. Okay, I used the instructions in the pattern to mark my line to sew. Now we're gonna down, across, up, and across. And I'm gonna pull my threads to the back and tie them off. So I'm gonna leave my threads long. There you go. Okay, we have both of our connectors sewn on. Now we need to place our rivet. Next step is making our complete gusset. You need your exterior gusset with the strap connectors we just put on. You need your lining gusset piece, and you need your zipper gusset that we made earlier. We are going to take the zipper gusset, move your D-ring out of the way, and you're going to take your bottom gusset, and you're going to put these right sides together and clip in place. Just like that. Turn it over, and you're going to take your lining gusset piece, and you're going to put that right side down with the right side of the lining of the zipper gusset. So it should be linings are right side together. And you're just going to add that in to your clips. Okay. You should have your zipper lining gusset, or you should have your lining gusset, your zipper gusset. These should be right sides together. And you should have your exterior gusset right tied together with your exterior zipper panels. And we're going to sew this at the full seam allowance. So now I'm going to trim this zipper down, and then I will singe the edges so it doesn't fray. I'm going to fold both the exterior and the lining away from the zipper panel. And now we're going to top stitch on the gusset piece. Make sure your D-ring is moved out of the way. We're now going to do the same thing to this side as we did to the other side. Right sides together for both the exterior, right sides together for the lining, clip in place, and sew at the full seam allowance. Now let's clip our other side of our zipper, and I will singe it so it doesn't fray. We're going to fold these wrong sides together. Now we're going to top stitch on the gusset piece. Go ahead and top stitch the other side, so both of my sides have been top stitched. Now what I want to do is I'm going to sew. We have this loop now. I'm going to go and sew on both sides all the way around here and all the way around here, making it one whole piece that'll be easier to work with when we bind it. If you want to clip all the way around, you can. You can take some clips, clip this all the way around. It should line up very, very nicely. I'm gonna go back this way, readjust. So I want it to line up. This should nest in with each other very nicely. Sometimes I have to go back and readjust. It does want to. Okay. I'm gonna just clip this, keep it together. And let's go ahead and sew all the way around. I'm going to zoom out so you guys can see it from this angle since it's a lot to be working with. Just going to get it started. and we're just basting it together. There we are. See, it's all basted all the way around. Now we're going to do the same thing to the other side. Okay, it's all sewn together, basted together. Now it will act as one piece when we bind our bag. I'm going to collect all of my pieces and we'll get started on binding. We have our gusset piece all together. We have our back piece, and I have basted these two pieces wrong sides together. I have my pocket with my back piece, a zipper pocket with my back piece, and I have my slip pocket with my front exterior piece. You just put wrong sides together and you baste them together. Now we have 3 pieces that we need to put together. I'm going to start with the exterior piece and the slip pocket piece. First things first is you need to find your center of your gusset. I line up the seams right here, fold this, and snip. This will be the center, the top of our bag. I'm going to do that for both sides. It'll be easiest to do it right now. And then I'm going to find the center on the bottom of my bag. My children are playing with their piano, so excuse the background noise if you can hear it. Here's the center for the bottom. Here we are. I need to find the center for the exterior panel. I'm going to line up the zippers, and that'll give me a good judge of where the center will be when I fold it in half. And I'm just snipping in the seam allowance. Do that again. Line up the zipper, and then I just work my way around, folding the whole thing in half until I get to the center. And then I make a little snip and it turns it into a triangle. Okay. Now we need some clips. Clips. And then I use my stapler. So you're going to turn your gusset lining side out. It's going to be a little wonky, but lining side out. Then you're going to take the center mark on the right side of the gusset and put it right sides with your exterior and clip it in place. And I'm going to find my other center on the bottom, right sides together, and you're going to clip it in place. Okay, just going to trim that. Okay. Now we're just going to work our way around the bag, clipping the two pieces right sides together. But all clipped all the way around. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in with my stapler and staple these corners here and here, and then staple along the curve here just to make sure that it doesn't move. If you cut everything out exactly the way it is in the pattern piece and you follow all the seam allowance exactly how she has it in the pattern piece, your pattern piece and your gusset piece should line up and clip together perfectly. I have never had to trim or snip into my pattern pieces to make them fit. They just come together so perfectly. That's one thing I love about this pattern. I don't have to struggle putting these together at all. Okay, I'm going to go around with my stapler and then we'll sew it together. Okay, I went through and stapled just to keep it all together. And now I'm going to sew it with the gusset side up so I can move the gusset out of the way as I sew around. Adjusted my camera angle so you can see more of what I'm doing with the bag and how I'm smushing it to get it under my machine. We are going to sew it together. She has the seam allowance in the pattern of what you're going to sew it at. I'm just going to stick it under my machine and sew all the way around, moving my gusset out of the way as I sew. Here we go. remembered I gotta adjust my stitch length. Okay, now we're ready. Let's sew all the way around. Make sure your needle is down when you reposition your gusset. You can lift your needle or your presser foot and adjust, but make sure your needle is down. Just take your time, especially around these tight top corners of the bag. Making sure everything is out of the way and you don't have any ripples when you sew. Just keep adjusting and readjusting as you go, taking your time. No need to rush this process. We're almost at the end. Okay, there we are. It is sewn all the way around. I'm going to trim some of my seam allowance down because it slipped a little bit. It's not, but we want it to be all even before we put the binding on. First, let me take my staples out, actually. Just going to go around and take all my staples out. Do that first, and then we'll trim our seam allowance down. Okay, I got all my staples out, and now I'm going to trim my seam allowance down so it's all even all the way around, and then we will put on our binding. Okay, I have my seam allowance trimmed to where it's all even on both sides, and I'm going to now apply my binding. It's just waterproof canvas, 1-inch waterproof canvas, and I have folded it in half and made a crease to make it easier for applying. Now, I am not the best binder. I know there are several people that don't like binding as well. So I'm just going to show you what I do, what works for me for my binding. I'm not the best at binding. Some people are fantastic. It's not my strong suit. So what I do with this bag, which makes it a lot easier, is on the panel, the lining panel, not on the gusset, on the lining panel, I put double-sided tape all the way around. Just along the edge, all the way around. Just like that, all the way around. Okay. I have put double-sided tape all the way around the lining panel, not the gusset. Just gonna press it on, make sure it sticks. Now what I'm gonna do is take my binding. I'm gonna work in sections, taking the tape off and sticking the binding on the tape, making sure my center crease, I know it's black, but making sure my center crease here is on the edge of my seam allowance, on this outermost edge. Just like that. I'm going to stick it and then go and clip it all the way around. Okay, I have it stuck on. I'm just going to go around, put some clips so nothing shifts on me, especially on these corners. I have tried binding in so many different ways. So many people teach it differently, have their own tips and tricks. I feel like I've tried everything. And I just am not good at doing binding. I have found that this works best for me. In the pattern, there is a different way to do binding. Katerina shows a double fold binding method in the pattern. I've tried it. It never turns out the way I like, or I mess up, and to each their own. Everybody has their own way of doing things, and this is just how it works for me. It's not perfect. It's not the way a lot of people do it, but it works for me to get the best results. Okay, now I'm going to do the same thing I did when I basted the pieces together. I am going to put gusset side up. I have this, I'm moving this out of the way so I don't sew over it. That's where we're going to end. We're going to start here and we're going to sew it all the way around at the full seam allowance. We're just going to sew all the way around the full seam allowance, or as close to the full seam allowance as possible. I usually just follow the binding because it's not always the full seam allowance for me. Make sure you move your gusset out of the way. Now, where are my? I usually use these tweezers, or whatever you want to call them, to help me when I'm binding, to hold the binding in place. I don't have a stiletto. I don't use a stiletto. I just put these down to help hold them in place, protects my fingers. I just do it little at a time, moving this gusset out of the way as I sew. These corners are a little tricky, but make sure your needle is down when you're adjusting your bag and your gusset and your binding, and really does help to make sure that needle is down. And just take your time and adjust as you go. Needle down. I'm going to get another piece of double-sided tape. Just a nice small piece. And I'm going to stick it on the end of my binding strip of waterproof canvas. Trim my threads, top and bottom. What I do then is I take the paper off and I line it up with the waterproof canvas on this side. Fold it over. Okay. Now continue. Okay, I'm just gonna peek under here. Make sure I caught everything. I think I did. Let's double check. If I need to adjust it, that's fine. That's black on black, so it looks like pretty good. Okay, looks like I missed, missed right, caught it right on the edge. I think I'll just do one small row right here. And then I think we're done with that side at least. We need our back panel, and we are going to put it on right sides together. Exterior right sides together. Actually, okay, we need our back panel now. First things first is we need to find our centers. I'm going to line up the edge here, fold it in half, and clip my center. I'm going to do the same thing with the other side. Just work my way around, lining it up. Clip my center. Okay, we're going to take our almost completed bag here and our back panels, and we're going to put them right sides together, lining up the top and bottom centers. So we're going to have exterior with exterior together. Okay, I have all of my sides clipped. Now I'm going to go around with my stapler, and I'm going to staple mainly at the corners and the curve, and maybe a couple here and a couple here. Went around and stapled it all. Was a little bit of work. I went a little overboard just because we're gonna now be sewing it this way, and we're going to be squishing this panel to make it fit under the machine. It's gonna be a little bit of a struggle. This is probably the hardest part of the bag, is this last section of binding is probably the hardest part of the bag, but we can do it. Here we go. Just get it under there as best you can. Don't forget to back stitch. Just do it a couple times. I'm going to trim this. That long now. Okay. Here we go. Just be prepared to squish. Yes, it's probably going to wrinkle the bag a little bit, but we can always iron and add heat to get those wrinkles out. This is why I went a little overboard with the staples. This is going to be a lot of squishing and adjusting. I'm going to have to unzip my zipper. Yeah, just so I can get in the bag. Make sure things are out of the way. And continue. Made it all the way around. Now I'm going to go and I'm going to take all of my staples out and trim my seam allowance just like we did on the other side, just to make sure it's all nice and even. And then we'll put our binding on. So I'll be back in a moment. I took all of my staples out. Now it is time to bind the last step. Bind it and then we can turn it. I'm going to do what I did on the other side, and that was put double-sided tape all the way around. I'm going to do that for this side as well. I'm going to put some double-sided tape all the way around and then put my waterproof canvas on. Now I'm ready to put the binding on. Here we go. Start right here. This is going to be a little difficult. We got to squish the bag under the machine. Okay. Just gonna do a little bit at a time. Trim our threads. Did we catch it all? Yes, we did. I caught it all. Okay. Just gonna burn my threads here. Okay, now let's turn it. Okay, guys, we finished our binding. We have a zipper pocket here. And I added a double slip pocket on the other side. We are ready to turn our bag. Okay, definitely will need a press. Okay. We did it. We did it, guys. You got your zipper pocket in the front. You got your slip pocket back here. It definitely needs a little bit of working and pressing, but it is gonna look beautiful. Let's get the flap. Usually what I do is put my hand on the inside, push buttons on. Look at that. Definitely needs to be shaped. There we go. We have our strap. Look at that, guys. Beautiful. It looks so good.